I want to talk a little bit today about firearms and different categories of firearms, different usage for firearms, and what I feel like are the 5 categories of firearms. The 5 categories, in my opinion, are: number 1, a self-defense firearm, which would be something very concealable, something very good at close quarters, which is going to be, of course, a handgun. Number 2 is going to be a long-range rifle, something in the family of a .308, .30-06, 7mm mag, 300 Win mag, something along those lines, something large caliber that has a tremendous amount of punch, even at long distances, getting out 200, 300, 400 yards. The next category would be a short range rifle or intermediate range rifle. In my opinion, that is an AR-15, 5.56 by 45, or SKS, AK-47 in the 7.62 by 39, even a Mosin Nagant, something like that. Those actually are short to intermediate range battle rifles. I mean, that's what they are. I know some people set theirs up where they can shoot them for 600 meters, and that's great, but that's not what they were designed for, and that's not really what they're good at. So I consider those a short to intermediate range rifle. And then the next thing is going to be a utility gun, which is going to be a .22 rifle. Very inexpensive gun, very good for really, really small game, squirrels, rabbits, that kind of thing, varmints, raccoons, armadillos, that kind of thing. And then an all-purpose gun, which, as I have in front of me, that's going to be a 12-gauge shotgun. Of course, you can get a 20-gauge shotgun, 16-gauge shotgun, 410 shotgun. I mean, there's a lot of options out there as far as the shotguns go. But the question today is, if you could only have one out of all the if you could only have one gun, period, this is it. Now, you can have your ammo, but you can only have one gun, one caliber. That's going to be it. What would you choose? I've talked with a lot of people about this. I've gotten a lot of different answers. I've gotten a lot of different reasonings as to why, and all good. I understand, and again, it's a personal decision. There are no right or wrongs. I mean, it's what works for you. My personal choice, obviously, is going to be the 12-gauge shotgun, and I'll tell you why. The 12-gauge shotgun, given the different options in ammo, I just feel like it cannot be beaten, because it can in some way, not as good as, but it is the only weapon out of the 5 categories and out of all the different calibers, it is the only weapon that can handle the duty, sometimes poorly, but it can still handle the duty of every one of the 5 categories. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. This happens to be my wife's very, very tactical 870 Wingmaster 12 gauge. She handles it very well. It even has the side saddle with the extra ammunition on it, pistol grip. It's slung. It's just an awesome weapon, to be honest with you. And she handles it well. But the thing about the 12 gauge, what I like about the 12 gauge, by the way, I know all the YouTube fanatics, yes, it's unloaded. What I like about the 12 gauge is the multitude of different type ammos that you can run through it. And I mentioned that it can handle the workload of all the different categories. Let's just look at the other categories. Personal defense. Now, this gun certainly is not concealable. You can buy, this is the 20-inch smoothbore slug barrel. You can buy a shorter barrel that's still legal, still has sights on it. So you can make it a little bit shorter. You can buy just a pistol grip without the buttstock on it, so that would make it shorter even still. You can make it more concealable than it is in this configuration, but a shotgun's never going to be as concealable as a handgun. So It can't conceal as good as a handgun, but as far as what you can do with it, say you come across, a guy with level 3, even level 4 body armor on. A lot of bad guys out there this day and time, they wear body armor. They wear good body armor. This is a 1 ounce, 12 gauge slug. This will not, in any shape, form, or fashion, even put a dent in a really good body armor plate. But what it will do is it will impart about 450 grains of lead at 1,600 feet per second of kinetic energy into that plate. He may not be bleeding on the outside, but I promise you he's bleeding on the inside. That makes for a bad day. I don't care if you stop every bit of it. You're not going to stop the impact that it brings, and it's going to do some damage. It's probably going to break some bones. It's going to break some ribs. That is going to absolutely neutralize somebody. It won't kill them. It's not going to blow a hole through that plate, and it's not going to go through there. But it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. You see people all the time, I guess in movies and all, but it's somewhat realistic. You see them get shot with body armor on with handguns, 9mm, 40 caliber, 45s, and you'll see them peel the thing off, and you'll see the big bruise and everything. Well, buddy, that's about 3 times as much weight traveling at about 200 or 300 feet per second faster. It's going to do that much more damage. It's going to hurt. It's going to be bad. So and another thing too, double-aught buckshot, 9 pellets, each pellet being roughly the same size as an AR-15, 55 grain, 62 grain bullet projectile. It's and of course they call them a scatter gun for a reason. It's not going to, it's not a spray and pray gun, but it will spread out, and it will take out a target in a expanding manner. So for a self-defense gun, this thing can get the job done for sure if you can find some way to hide it on yourself, or if you're just in a situation where you don't need it hidden, you have to go grab it out of the truck or something. You don't really need it hidden in those kind of conditions. So it can serve as a personal defense weapon. As far as a long range rifle, now this is a rifle slug out past 100 yards. If you can hit anything with it, it'll carry for a long way. And just simply because it's just a big heavy honking hunk of lead, it can do some damage when it gets there. But long range, it's not really that great for that. But then again, in the long range, unless we're just trying to be a sniper on somebody that's trying to, we see from a long way out trying to sneak up on our position or whatever with bad intentions. We really don't, the long range rifle is probably the least. That is the one that I keep the least amount of ammo for. That is the one that I feel like would get the least amount of use. So the fact that this won't do that very well is not really a big concern to me. Now the short range rifle or intermediate range rifle, like I said, slugs. Every time I fire one of these double-aught bucks with 9 pellets in it, each one of those pellets is roughly the size of a 55 or a 62 grain projectile like your AR-15, and it spreads out. So capacity-wise, I'm limited with this gun, but am I really? Because when I pull that trigger, it's like shooting my AR 9 times. Maybe not with the precision, or absolutely not with the precision, but got 9 pellets flying out there. Every shot, this is a 4 plus 1, so that's 5. So 5 times 9 pellets in each one of those, 45 projectiles. One magazine on my AR is only 30. So, I got a magazine and a half of an AR in this thing with double-aught buckshot in it. And with the slugs, wow, anything 75 yards and in, that's tough. That's a tough deal. Another thing, going to the utility of the 22. Well, going to the different types of ammo. You're going to have a hard time going and putting food on the table if you're hunting birds and you're using a 22. With a shotgun, with a 12 gauge shotgun or any gauge, for that matter. You got your light duty bird shot. Go out and hunt quail, dove. If you're in a bind, I mean, if you just really have to have something to eat, blackbirds, blue jays, anything. I mean, bird shot's good for it. It doesn't tear them up too bad. That's what it's made to do. It's made to shoot small birds. Then you can step up. This is the Express Long Range, what we call high brass, 6-shot. This is good for duck, geese, larger birds. You can take anything down with it. The small game that I talked about with the 22 rifle, the small game, rabbit, squirrels. I've killed many a rabbit and squirrel with my 12-gauge shotgun. It's just a good all-around gun that in some way or another can serve the purpose of all the other guns in the category. And I really can't say that about any of the other guns on there. You certainly are going to be hard-pressed to put food on the table with a handgun. And you wouldn't go, if the only thing you had to hunt was birds or small game, rabbits and squirrels, you're certainly not going to go hunt them with a 30-06 or an AR-15 for that matter. You could, but I mean, you got so much velocity and so much kinetic energy behind those, you're going to blow them up so bad. I mean, it's just going to be, you're going to be eating meat soup basically. And like I said, pretty much everything on the 22 list, this 12 gauge will handle and do. The pros, I thought about the different things. So let's go with the cons. The cons of a 12 gauge, ammo is big and bulky and heavy. So toting around a lot of ammo for a 12 gauge, that poses a problem. Like talked about earlier about the personal defense gun, its lack of concealability. If it was cold or colder weather and you were wearing a jacket or whatever, you could, like I said, if you went with pistol grip, you could put that in a jacket. It'd work out pretty well. Recoil of a 12 gauge shotgun. I'm a big guy. It doesn't really bother me. I know some smaller people and people that use poor technique. I know 12 gauge knocked them around pretty good. I don't really have a problem with the recoil, and like I say, it's limited range. I mean, I'm 100 yards and in is pretty much going to be it for this thing, unless you just make some kind of phenomenally miraculous shot somewhere along the way. Not that it wouldn't be deadly out further than that, but the chances of you hitting anything are slim to none. The pros of this gun are the wide range of ammo selection that you have for it. All the different usages that you can get out of it. The fact that they're cheap. You can buy a cheap, used 12 gauge shotgun all day long for a couple $100. I mean, this is a 870 Wingmaster. The Express line of this particular gun, which I've had those as well, and they are excellent. A lot of your Mossbergs. There's a lot of them out there, even Harrington Richardson, the partners. Single shots, or I think they actually do too make a pump shotgun. But semi-automatics, I'm not necessarily dead set on a pump shotgun. I think they're reliability-wise, you're less likely to have a problem with a pump shotgun because the action is worked by you rather than by gases and O-rings and seals and that kind of stuff like in a semi-auto. But the reliability of a shotgun is incredible. I've shot them all my life, and it's rare to have a major failure with a shotgun, and even the problems that you do have, they're very easily fixed in the field. This thing is just, I did want to say I did some conversions for some stuff I looked up, and the 1 ounce slug like this one here is 437.5 grains in equivalent to a handgun round. So even a big old 200 and some odd grain 45 caliber bullet is still half of what this thing is, and it's traveling basically half the speed. So you talk about a 45 caliber at close range, you talk about a 45 caliber, double the size and double the speed, double the velocity. That's what that would create for you. ounce and a quarter slug is actually 546, right at 547 grains. And there again, at close range, it's 1600, when it leaves the muzzle, 1600 feet per second. That I don't even want to imagine how tough that is. That is incredible. But, and again, I'll try to get up here. I don't know if this thing, I picked these because the casing is clear, but I'm going to try to get up here real close and try to get this thing to focus on. You can actually see the pellets inside of that one. Maybe get an in shot on it, maybe. But you can actually see this is just a, and you probably heard that the action close. I was holding it by the foregrip and it shut on me, but it's still not loaded. But like I say, my choice, 12 gauge shotgun. Feel free to comment anything I may have overlooked, any ideas of other categories of guns, other weapons that you might choose over a 12 gauge shotgun, and the reason why. I would appreciate you just not coming on there and saying that you're right and I'm wrong just because that's the way you think. Because like I said, I don't think there's no right or wrong answer here. It's a matter of personal choice and what you use the best and what you're able to manipulate the best, and what will provide you with what the purpose that you have for it, what it will do for you. But let me know.